Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Real Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh.
And Lucas.
Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
It is Tuesday, my dudes, and a happy Tuesday to you all. Welcome to The Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFR Live.com. And that's about all I got. That was it. I'm spent. I peaked right there. That was.
I sort of chuckled when you had that da. And Lucas. Yes, I'm here too. And Walt and Zach.
Yeah.
So how is construction coming along out there, Lucas?
I'm going back there tomorrow, actually. So I've been working on the garden and getting the tomatoes ready and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's been good.
Yeah, you sound excited. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good to get everything going and tinker around the garden and water plants and all that sort of good stuff. And that greenhouse it looks full as it looks like a little jungle in there. I'm like, oh, but it's all right. I'm just they're self-seeded tomatoes, so I'm basically just gonna pick out the best ones, the ones that grow the best in the greenhouse, and then I'll plant them out. So I'm got like a whole patch just outside the greenhouse that I grew beans in it, and I basically turned it all in and turned it over, and so I should have even nitrogen and stuff in there, and I'll plant straight into that, put some weed mat down, and so it'll be good. How about yourself? What's been happening?
Not a whole lot. Been, helping the neighbor with. He's always got something he's doing over there. I swear, I think he thinks if he slows down, that he won't be able to keep moving. He's 82, I think. Yeah, he just goes. It's amazing. I hope I'm half that active.
Jesus, that's how I feel about 5 p.m. every single day. If I stop, I'm done. I just got to keep going until I know I can be done.
So yeah, I haven't been, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I'm ready for something. I think it's Flattoberfest is what I'm gearing up for. We are getting close.
We are real close.
11 days away.
Whoa. Yeah, that'll be good fun. Real good fun.
Yeah. And been thinking about a video to make. Just a short, quick 2 or maybe 2-3 minute video. I like those are easy to make. Easier at least.
Lifestyle?
Yep.
What's it going to be about?
The magnetic field and the tides. How they're kind of interlinked.
Oh, that sounds bloody good. How are they interlinked? I have no idea.
Right.
Other than
Here, let me show you. Throw a picture in here. Yeah, Iru had found this picture. Because we have, well, at least they claim we have a quadrupole, right? As our magnetic pole.
Yeah, I'm going to start disputing that. Did you watch that video I put down? No.
Not yet.
Okay.
I must have been unsubbed or something. I haven't seen you drop anything new, Lucas. What the hell?
No, not me.
I literally
was
going to check that right now.
I thought you
not
just
my
said.
video. I'm still working on one, and then my iPad died, so I had to do a few, because I usually do a few crappy pictures on the, I don't know, it's like a paint on there or whatever. But yeah, I changed the battery over in it, and now the screen won't come on. So whatever. I have to get a new screen or something. I don't know. I hope nothing's lost, because I've got a fair bit of shit on there.
Isn't technology grand?
Yeah, I know. You shouldn't mess around with it. It was working before. It worked when I first put the battery in and then I don't know, something happened. But I got a video in the works. I got so many ideas running through my head, especially lately. It's crazy. But
and that's the video editing, man. I get to that part of it to like start the video on the computer, and it's like, nah, never mind.
Well, for me, it's like you got to draw the pictures or have a little bit of animation or something like that, and I have no idea how to do it. I was thinking like, one of those Remarkables where you sort of draw, because I like drawing, but I just don't like sitting there trying to move boxes and things around on a computer screen. It's just super annoying because I'm a fairly visual person, So I'd rather just. I was thinking maybe like Marty Lead style, have another camera where you're drawing pictures of your talk or something. But I don't know.
Huh.
And I've done a few videos where you're in front of the whiteboard and you just feel like a teacher, and it's just like you've got too much authority. It's like, no, I'm just some dude in a room,
Yeah, I did a few of those back in the day, and I always, I never showed myself though. I just showed the whiteboard, and I was like, it was a smaller whiteboard. I just sit at my lap and draw on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I dropped a couple pictures in the chat. Could you bring those up by any chance, Josh? Would that be a possibility?
I'll give it a go.
Just to share with people watching on the different platforms that we're streaming on. Hello, everybody out there. I hope you're having a wonderful time, I guess. I don't know. Day. Early light, evening, maybe.
So the four-leaf clover pattern around the North Pole, the tides appear to follow the lines of magnetic force and not the moon.
Mm-hmm. And then if you go over one more, that's a magnetic field I created using I kind of built those pillars out of multiple magnets and then wrapped them in coil.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I got this from Cam.
They're following. Okay.
With tracing boards and Jakim and Boaz and all these mentions of two pillars in mythology and stuff like that. And the video is a quadrupole. Yeah, you can't create a quadrupole with one magnet. It just doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting. This guy that I was showing, I left a video in the Ironworx chat there for you guys to have a look at, but he was sort of showing a singular magnet in a different way, and it was actually showing this type of quadrupole that comes out of a singular magnet. So I found that really interesting, but you'll have to suss that out, see if he's...
Yeah, because I'm calling bullshit on that. I've played with a lot of magnets, lots of them, under a ferrocell.
He was sort of showing the way the movement of the flux lines or whatever you call it. But you'll have to suss it out, see what you think, how he describes it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't recreate it. That's how I, kind of verify things. if I can recreate, a certain type of pattern or something like that, then it's, possible for me then. Not that I, nothing is possible if I can't do it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's how I like to try to, recreate.
Yeah, it was just interesting where he sort of placed the flux lines coming from the center and sort of spiraling out. And the way he described it was quite different than anything I've ever seen before. So whether he's full of rubbish, who knows? I sort of looked at a few other of his videos, and he's supposed to be getting power and things like that. So he could be a nutter. I don't know. But it's I've looked at the movement of the oceans as it relates to sort of hot and cold, as well as the different elements. So like two different electrolytes. One, you're going to have maybe more nitrates and more salt water, or different sorts of things like that. So it's definitely acting like a pump. And it would make sense if it's following certain lines of or magnetic lines. That would make sense to me.
Well, yeah, because everything is magnetic in one way or another. You're either ferromagnetic, diamagnetic, or paramagnetic. That's just, all matter that we know of has some type of a magnetic charge. Whether it's very weak or it's ferrous and, like iron and is super strong. Everything has a magnetic, either attraction or repulsion.
Yeah, that's right. It's either cationic or ionic, basically. I try not to use like the element, like electrons and things like that, because that's basically, it feels like the globe world, you know what I mean, when you talk about electrons and things like that. So I sort of try and go back to these ideas of
that's where I'm at with that
ionic
too.
And so the other thing I was thinking of, when you're looking at the battery or something like that, you've basically got a positive pole and a negative pole, and then you have this sort of bridge between the two poles, right? Well, a magnet is essentially a battery that hasn't, is all linked up into one unit. It's really fascinating to think about it in that Trinity aspect, because that's what the battery basically is. It's a Trinity at play, which is positive, negative, and the bridge between the two.
Yeah, the dielectric.
So,
yep.
Yeah, but it's just fascinating to think that bridge in the battery is all connected to the positive and negative, but also it doesn't sort of have a placement until it's based on the size of the magnet, as you know. So it's almost like the positive and negative are going in towards each other, in towards that bridge, rather than an external expression. Anyway, it's just a little theory that I've been thinking about, because it does show the same aspects.
Yeah, I've been breaking my brain just on and off. I don't even know if it's possible, but I want to invent some glasses or something that lets you see the electric field. I don't know if it's possible, but I want to see the world like Neo did in the Matrix. Just all the electricity coming off of everything all around us, everywhere. I think that would be so cool.
Just do a little meditation. You'll get there.
Yeah. Open the third eye, man. You'll see it all.
So I watched that video real quick, Lucas. That David had put in there, Lucas. Is that the one you were talking about? The sand?
No. That's just something Dave threw up there.
Yeah. What video is it you threw in here? I'm still looking for it, Dan.
Oh, maybe it's not there.
I'm just not seeing it. Maybe I'm in the wrong
It should
chat.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I put it somewhere else.
So today, guess what's not happening?
There's a
whole lot of stuff
Right.
not happening today.
Well, something that was supposed to happen this afternoon with a certain 90-year-old.
Right. That's not happening?
Nope, they
wasn't it supposed to be yesterday?
push it.
Or tomorrow, I mean?
It was supposed to be, no, today. Today was supposed to be, what's his name?
Bill Shatner.
Yeah, that's it. William Shatner, yeah. Billy Boy. He was supposed to go pretend like he went up on a rocket today. You know, but they pushed it back because it's going to be a windy day down in Texas. So it's pushed back till tomorrow. So they didn't postpone it like months or, you know, anything like that, weeks, months, and then years. So it's supposed to happen tomorrow. Maybe
That means we all have time to get our Planet of the Apes costumes ready for when he comes back.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I wonder if they've done that to any of these people. Like to see what, you know, because these are some sick, twisted people that, you know, get all this funding and get to do whatever they want. Okay, we're going to drop them on this island. Everybody's going to be in monkey suits. And let's just see how they react. I wouldn't put it past these people.
Not at all.
I thought that's what we were doing. Yeah.
I mean, if they were doing stuff like Plato's Cave ever, you know, then yeah, they would do that to people today. I saw something about they're saying people should get off of Facebook now, like in the news.
What? Why? Well, obviously, we know why, but why?
Yeah, we know why, but why are they saying it?
Yeah.
Something about Zuckerberg having too much power, and it. Oh, I should have saved the article, but yeah, they're talking about it's time for everybody to leave Facebook because of this. Oh, because of the censorship. That's what it is. I couldn't believe I saw that in the article. Yeah, because of censorship. Like,
it's like
Earth
nearly
people.
every other platform doesn't do it, you know, like Google or YouTube and you know, they've got their algorithms. Man, we probably don't even know how much they're fucking with us.
That's the thing. Normal people are now being censored. You know, the sheep for speaking up against all the bullshit that's going on in the world today. They're all getting on Facebook. Look at this. This is a lie. This is that's misinformation. We need to remove that. You know, so it's not just the conspiracy theorists nowadays that are getting censored. It's the normies, and they don't know how to handle it.
No.
I mean, that made me quit Facebook back in like 2010, 2011. When it had to be 2011, I was posting stuff about the NDAA Act that Obama had passed. And yeah, I went to my buddy's house and I jumped on his Facebook and I went to go look at my thing and it wasn't on my page. I was like, screw this, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. We don't know how good their algorithms. I was listening to a little video by Tim Truth today, and it was basically a Google guy saying, or a YouTube guy saying, you know, this is how we give you the recommended videos and things like that. But you know, the level that which their sort of machine learning, they call it, operates is probably beyond what I can imagine, actually. And you know, to the extent that they're, you know, tailoring what you're going to, I don't know, not just watch, but you know, actually put in videos that may lead you to a certain conclusion, even, you know what I mean? Like it's steps ahead of you, and it's like playing chess, you know, you're 20 steps ahead of the opponent. So I have no doubt that these algorithms, and if they understand what sort of things you like, actually start to guide you in a certain way. I wouldn't put that past them whatsoever.
Well, you know how far I think they could go to where, not so much our show, but some of these bigger platforms that were growing insane, like Jaren. Jaren shot up to 150,000 subs, like in that first year of Flat Earth. And he's still like not at 200,000. That's just insane to think about. With all the more numbers of flat earthers exponentially growing throughout the years. And yeah, I wouldn't doubt if they had different channels. There's the Jaranism channel that we all see. Then there's a Jaranism channel for people who have never clicked on a Jaranism video before. And they kind of control the chats and all that kind of stuff. So say Jaren has some, I don't know how they would actually do it. But they have the technology to do all this stuff. Like if it were our chat, since we mentioned, Liz the Iron Maiden and Alison Briscoe and all these people on the show, in our fake chat that they would have for us, they would have a Liz the Iron Maiden and an Alison Briscoe. And every time Liz puts something in chat, the Liz bot puts the same thing in chat. Just whatever Liz types in chat, on the other chat, there's Liz's bot saying the exact same thing. So if we call out and say, hey, Liz says this in chat, if there were another chat where most people were at, they would still see it.
Yeah, but how would you get across? How would you get across? There'd be someone figuring out that they'd have to get across to the other one, or realize that they're.
You couldn't. You could never get across. It's like Chinese internet and our internet. There's the normie internet and then the conspiracy theorist internet.
Yeah,
so most of normie, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard for them to do. That'd be just a little bit of programming. So the censorship could go.
Well, we know
way beyond.
from Alan's video that the AI they have now, you just sit and talk to it on a phone. So, and that's the basic free crappy one, not even one that you paid for. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think Josh watched the same video I did like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks back, about this idea of the fact that there is no real internet there anymore, period. That's all algorithms and, just freaking leading you down every fucking hole it can to suck your information away from you so that it can sell it to the, highest bidder to sell you more shit so it can suck more information next time you go on. So I don't know. It's crazy. I'll try to find the link to the video and drop it for you guys here somewhere. That being said, we've actually almost gotten through this first segment, I believe.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I got something that'll last about 2 minutes.
What you got, Zachary?
It kind of pisses me off. So Paul McCartney. All right. He breaks the news on who actually broke up the Beatles back in the day. You know what, prick? If you're going to do that, do it while everybody's still alive. Don't wait till half the band's dead and be like, oh yeah, it was that guy who did it. That ain't cool. Just saying. I'm sure it was John Lennon who broke up the Beatles. The one who quit the band and ended up dead and was singing songs about peace and love and how the government's horrible and evil and wicked.
Huh. Yeah, well, is that Paul or Paul?
Yeah, exactly. Which Paul? Sorry, dude. You weren't an original member of the band. You don't get to speak. Shut up. I used to be a huge Beatles fan. And John was my favorite, for sure. So yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Considering the man's been dead for 40 years now, 41 years. Now you want to come out and throw him under the bus? I don't know. This is the Ironworx.
This is the
That sound like a public study stunt anyway. So he's like,
Yeah.
I need more cash.
Yeah, his last album didn't sell so well, so it's time to get on the news.
Wow, it's the Las Vegas Raiders now? Where have I been?
I don't even keep up, so I can't even comment, sir. Go sports ball.
I thought it was the LA Rams and the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. No, it says some guy resigned as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. Okay.
All right. Well, that's going to take us to the break. Thanks, everybody, for all the love for the girls down there. They are looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm really excited to see what happens. New light will be here Friday. We should be able to start flowering within the next couple weeks. Fingers crossed. We'll be right back.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have.
and shiny. Get up off your little hiney and begin your happy day.
The sleeper has awakened!
And welcome back to the Ironworx second half of the first half of the show. Kicking off right now, Josh, Walt, Zach, and Lucas hanging out with you. You know, I was showing off the girls just before the break. Good God. Studio's driving me crazy.
Is that where that's coming from?
Oh,
still?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. The girls. I was showing off the girls before the break. Because I've been spending time trying to dial in that room, get the lighting right, get the airflow right, temperature, humidity, all that good stuff. Trying to make sure it'll all work out the way I want to, because then eventually I wanted to start breaking out the magnets and the vortex water and all that stuff we talked with Dom about, and all these other different ideas. Some of the different electric ideas that Lucas had been looking into and found some really old patents for. Just things that we could experiment with. I just thought might be a good idea. Just something I've had percolating there in the back of my brain. And then I get on YouTube yesterday, and who do I see but Norb from Norb's World doing that exact thing. He's got his little grow tent set up. He's got his girls started, and he's going to be experimenting with magnets and mirrors and frequencies and all sorts of cool stuff. So if you haven't already subscribed to Norb's World, if you haven't familiarized yourself with his that cosmic egg digital animation that he built, you'd probably recognize it once you saw it. But head on over to Norb's World, hit that subscribe button, and check out some of the stuff he's got in the works and got planned. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I love Norb.
Yeah, I've actually been checking that out here on my own. I saw it a couple days back and started playing catch up on what he's been doing with all the magnets and stuff. So yeah, kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting back into it. I know he had a rough time there for a little while, losing his father and all that stuff. It's good to see him just creating anything again, just being Norb. You know, that guy has so much, what's the word? It's beyond talent. It's, imagination. The ability to just create is like limitless with that guy. The stuff that he does it's beautiful. It's those things like True Sophageo by Alex. That's the type of stuff Norb creates. That stuff that just grabs you, and you know, those 432 frequencies and all that kind of. Norb is, yeah, he's on a next level. I wouldn't doubt there's somebody that pretty much listens to everything that guy does and is just waiting for their next idea for their famous whatever.
So it would appear we actually have a caller. Not often we get those. I just happened to see a little movement on my screen, so I went to go check it.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing? I've been following your YouTube channel for a while, and I've been learning the secret societies of what we have in today's society, and I want to know more about it.
Oh, well, that's the trouble with secret societies.
I don't know.
There's secret, and being able to just stand up and point at saying, here's where this secret society is having a absolute
okay. Do you believe
effect.
in religion is where I want to go for at first.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't even say.
No, you're You're fine. I just want to know if religion has a part to do with in secret societies as well.
I would certainly imagine so. Probably at the root of a lot of them is a religion of sorts. Probably one that's not necessarily.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
are you sure it's not spirituality of the people? Like, do you think spirituality has to do with a lot other aside from religion?
I wouldn't say that it's a side. I think it's the spirituality of the people is sort of what religion is used to control. They use the religion to control the human spirituality.
No, I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but does secret societies believe in religion like that, or do they believe in just humanity as one? Unification, I guess I should say.
Well, we don't really know what these secret societies believe in a sense. We can see by their, we sort of tell things from a distance by their actions or by their fruits. And generally, when we're looking at sort of these elite class and those sort of underground things, what they produce is anti-nature and anti-humanity, basically. So in that sense, we can sort of tell that they're
weird.
They're not in our best interest. But to say that all religion is it's somewhat being corrupted, I would say.
To say that all religion is associated with secret societies, I guess wouldn't be.
Religion is man-made.
Well, wouldn't be considered true, right?
No, religion is man-made.
Yeah. So would you guys believe? I don't know. I'm just trying to get like all information as I can. I'm just trying to get sides from everything.
Yeah. Think of it this way. Even the members in these secret societies and families, they're not all bad people. Have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
Yes. No. I mean, it might sound stupid to relate.
No.
To
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah. Listen.
I totally spirituality. Yes, and I understand. I know we have been perceived to witchcraft as that's an evil thing, and Harry Potter has a lot to do with witchcraft. But I totally
No. I'm not talking about witchcraft at all. I'm talking about.
Yes, it has a lot to do with spirituality.
The Harry Potter side of it, though. Hold on, give me a sec. Think of their world. That's a secret society world, like a Harry Potter world.
Okay, yes.
The Muggles, us,
yes, and
we don't get to hear about anything they talk about. We don't get to see them in their, meetings or anything like that. But there are good people in these secret societies, people that were born into these secret societies. So not everybody is bad. There could be good people that are, leaking out the information to us. So it's really more, there is a spiritual war going on, but we don't get to see it. That happens behind closed doors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I totally understand, but why are we perceived to believe that these secret societies are evil?
Overpower the government. What do you mean?
Is it because we overpower the what we perceive to be the popular person?
I don't think so. I think
the government, I guess.
People in the secret societies that put themselves above human beings. So they look at us as though we're cattle. We're not. We're the same as they are.
People put themselves into the secret societies.
Yeah, like they look at us as the sheep to the wolves.
Because we're trying to teach them.
Because I feel like they're trying to teach us.
Or like political, wealthy. They're not all bad people. A lot of them have joined, secret societies to make a change in mankind.
Yes.
And a lot of them are not, joining those secret societies. And those are the bad people. And
bad influence. And the research that I've done, I've always seen negative in secret societies, but I also
want you to think they're negative because they don't want you to join
Exactly. Maybe the government doesn't want you to join that because of communication and people, but I also
All right.
both sides of everything.
Let's move on here. We've been joined by someone else. Thanks for your
that's fine.
questions,
Thanks for calling, though. And
Yeah,
certainly
call
thanks
back in.
for
I'm
this,
just trying to
friend.
get very good points. I'm just trying to get very good points of everything, so that way I can realize as a human being myself is what is. I don't know if it's right or what.
Well, we weren't meant to work, eat, and sleep. That's not our cycle. We were meant for more than that. And
Right.
So we have to evolve as human beings.
And I agree with that. I don't think that life is all work, eat, and sleep. There is a lot more purpose into life.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, guys.
And if you check back on our channel, we have a video with a gentleman named
Dude, I'm subscribed to Geometria News Effect. I love that dude. I've listened to that guy. I know he's been blocked from everything. I don't care how much he's been blocked from, but I've always listened to that guy. I haven't really followed the Jesuit order or I probably should try and read into that. I don't know if it's a religion. I don't know, because I know it has a lot to do with numbers and the date, like he says, like the dates of everything lines up with how things work. Perfect. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
order.
those
Yeah,
numbers
time.
are really strange. Those numbers, you can't really dig too far into them because those numbers can just kind of send you off spiraling. But thank you guys so much for calling in this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. Feel free to call in again on Friday or any morning. We do try to keep the call-in lines open. Sometimes I got a lot of ducks to get in a row. But thank you guys so much for calling in. And it seems we have been joined this morning. So that's what I love about being able to just throw people in these group chats, because you just never know who's going to pop on, which is one of the reasons we always leave those doors open, because it's one of those surprises that just makes my day. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. Yeah. And just to say, I've been looking into secret societies since I was 15, 16, and I still haven't scratched the surface. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You could study your whole life and not get anywhere. So yeah, my advice, the best advice I can give is just don't join one.
That's great advice. Great advice.
And don't be too scared of them either. I wouldn't be surprised if secret societies put out fear and misinformation about themselves to keep the people that just believe whatever they hear away. Because if they hear it and say, oh, well, they're bad and they're scary, so I'm just never going to do that because that's what the internet tells me. And they say, well, we don't want those people anyway. So if they just believe it, then good riddance. We'll wait for the ones that want to investigate and seek the truth and want to seek the knowledge. They'll come here and they'll ask us. They'll go to the source and seek the truth. So I think there's a lot to be said for them just pushing people away purposefully also.
Well said.
Well, there's always, levels to understanding a lot of, these esoteric documents as well. There's some where you get it's almost like you can look at the old bedtime stories or the, Little Red Riding Hood and those sort of things, and you can see a nice little, somewhat weird stories, but, then you look at a deeper level and it's telling you, things about the movement of the sun or the, whatever it may be trying to teach you, but there's an underlying, principle to it. So that's with a lot of those documents and so-called secret societies and things. They're just basically, there's levels to understanding. So.
Absolutely.
Well, as Josh started there, we were joined by our good friend Nick. Phuket Word. How are you, buddy? Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Well, and good to be chatting with you after about 6 months after you sent me an invite.
Hey, it takes a minute sometimes. That's how we like to do it. Slow burn.
Yeah. Oh no, just fantastic. I mean, I listen to you guys regularly because when you're on in the morning, it's coming up for 5 o'clock for me in the afternoon. So I just tune in and listen while I'm working. It's always good to hear what you guys are talking about. Yeah. Just wanted to join in the warm, fuzzy, cozy
vibe. Get in here and warm it up, man. Have you dug into the societies? Have you dug to the core of the secret societies at all? I think we all touch on it a bit when we start digging through this stuff. You kind of have to come across it and either dig in deep or just move on and say, well, that's way too much shit I don't want to go with.
Well, sure. I mean, obviously, once you realize that a lot of the leaders are all in their own little cults, and whether those are all different factions within the government, they're probably all competing with each other anyway, aren't they? But yeah, I think you're right. It's it becomes you end up having to assume a lot, just like anything, isn't it? But ultimately, they are people that have been compromised and have had to make promises and keep secrets, even from their own loved ones, in order to be where they are. And we know that all these people in positions of power have got their hands behind their backs, and it's just a matter of time they're as dispensable as the rest of us. So they don't have any, I don't see that they have any superiority on us, apart from being able to maybe order cops to do something that's beyond legal.
Yeah, they've all, they may know information that we don't know, but they've taken vows of silence to never speak about it, or else they get put to death. So it's not like they're
either that or they've been their initiation into it is to be so that they can be bribed, or so the very thing that they're trying, if they spoke about it, they've got it on them as well. So it's I think there's it's not very secretive society. It's basically bribery at the highest levels, isn't it? And it's just you follow the money, and that's where you end up, really. And I'd say that the deepest, the highest of these cult members are involved in the highest levels of banking. That's would be my guess.
Extortion makes the world go round, so to speak.
Yeah, it's just a more polite looking mafia, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Although the modern, mafia has shown its hand lately, hasn't it?
I just saw a story recently that all of the old school mafia leaders are at a loss as to what to do with the next generation, because all of their sons in this next generation of the mafioso coming up are so like narcissistic and obsessed with their phones that they don't want to pass it on to them. I think one of the big bosses just got busted because his son was tweeting pictures when he was supposed to be somewhere, and he was like in Florida at some big club, and they found him and spotted him and saw the pictures, and the feds came, busted it, found him, and hauled his ass off to prison because his son just couldn't stop posting on social media. So these guys have no idea what to do with how to push that racketeering on to the next generation.
Well, that's the big mistake I think they made. A lot of these secret societies, that's where they went wrong. They're trying to keep it in the family and keep their, I mean, that's not how, at least according to what they've said, that's not how secret societies worked back in the day. You didn't just get born into these secret societies. It didn't matter who you were. You had to go, just like the Freemasons, they don't ask you. You have to go and seek the knowledge out. And most likely they're going to turn you away the first time for sure, probably a couple times. They're looking, at least they used to, look for people like us that were seeking the knowledge, the truth. But yeah, it seems that nowadays it's just, my dad was in there, so I'm in there now. That Skull and Bones movie was a good representation of this. My daddy is the head of the chapter, so I'm in for sure.
That was with Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it used to be. I think that's where they're making their mistake, and they have all these idiots, these, not very intelligent people in these secret societies holding high amounts of power now when they shouldn't be. Just because, your dad knocked up your mom and made you doesn't mean that you should have this seat of power. And I think that's where they're really lacking right now.
Like George Bush.
Yeah, that comes to mind 100%. George Bush Sr. Never should have been in the seat of power he was ever in. But Daddy was, head of the CIA back in the day. Daddy was president. Hey, I can do all this stuff too.
Almost as if there's something about that the bloodline and the passing on of the genetics in the bloodline and making sure that bloodline stays at least in orbit, so to speak, of that particular seat of power.
Do you think there's kind of honor among the, in the same way that there's honor among criminals? Are they fighting it out, or do they hold back on certain things when you think about bloodlines? Is that what we're seeing at the moment happening? Are we actually having these groups of people, bloodlines, battling it out? Or do they all, even though they might be from different factions, have a similar goal that they agree to work together on because they know that it would get really messy if they actually fought each other?
Well,
yeah,
I would think that they, they're vampiric in nature. And by that I mean that they know where their energy source is, and it's through, the fiat currency, or it's through oil, or it's something like that. So they can fight amongst themselves all they like, but they're still not going to go and touch their food source. They're still not going to, they can fight between themselves, but they're not going to cut off their, nose to spite their face, sort of thing. So I think they're just going to, that would be my thing. It's like, why would you, go and interrupt your supply lines, your own supply lines, because they're all intermingled. It's all just one big, at the end of it.
Yeah, I think their seats of power, we don't even know about these seats. Like when we see the Democrat did this to the Republican and blah, that's just a show. I don't think that all that is planned. But they're still humans. They're still going to argue and fight and try to pull one over on the other person. And that's just their nature. That's how they learn to get where they are. So, but I don't think we see a whole lot of that. That's probably handled in-house, any kind of penalty that one of them might have to, we'd never hear about it. It's not like they get thrown in jail or anything like that.
No,
yeah, it's probably
they
more
have
like
small plane crashes.
That could be like a kind of, maybe they're playing the game. It's like a game of chess where, okay, they're enemies and they're battling it out, but there are rules that they follow. Maybe it's something like that. Like you said, just for the pure sake of self-preservation for long-term vampirism.
Yeah, I'll go back to Harry Potter again. They fight amongst each other, and they do all this magic and stuff against each other, but you can't show a muggle the magic. So everything they do to each other, we don't get to see it. We don't get to hear about it. We don't even know that it exists. But that's how I see it, at least.
And then it's sort of why we're seeing what we are now. Is it's an energy crisis in a sense. They're trying to manually shift over to a new paradigm because they knew that all fiat currencies have a limited time span. So they have to prepare for the next, installment of enslavement to keep their basically, their food source operating. And they're just trying to transfer over to a new operating system where they're still in control, which I think is going to fail epically because most people are starting to wake up and have had enough,
Yeah, there's a huge amount of there's a big light at the end of the tunnel, I think, in this sense. Yeah. We still see the usual people that I saw people celebrating Freedom Day in Australia and praising, so there are people still very much stuck in that paradigm. They just don't understand what they're party to or have helped bring in. But at the same time, I think you're right. This is surely waking in those up that are ready, that maybe weren't ready 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Now we've got people that have in the past 2 years of thinking, shit, they were right.
Yeah, well, exactly. Now it's actually happening. All the stuff that we were telling them was coming down the pipe. They were like, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. Now that it's happening, they're like, oh, that guy told me that. And he also told me this and this and this. What if he's right?
I think, that, but again, I don't hold false hope for some kind of, what's the word, utopia where everyone wakes up, because even if people realize that, they still make a choice. They either surrender their pride or swallow it and give up the ego and go with the information, or they double down and build a wall higher.
Yeah. You definitely see that too. And I don't think you need, the
oh wow, that's break music. Okay,
That's what that is.
I guess.
And that's going to round up the first half. Hour number 1 of the Ironworx in the book, hanging out with our buddy Nick. Phuket Word there on YouTube. Stick around. We'll be right back for another hour of the Ironworx right after this.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
I'm Michael Coe, filling in for Clifford Baines, who is fighting his nemesis atop of an abandoned clock tower. A new study by the Department of Education finds that students who think school is a boring waste of time score significantly lower on their standardized tests than their peers. Are these exams biased against students who don't give a shit?
Absolutely. These kids are placed at an unfair disadvantage. Students who don't care enough to read through to the end of a word problem have an 89% lower chance of answering it correctly. I mean, there's something wrong with that question.
Yep, you're right. And the studies also show that students who randomly fill in answer bubbles to make a UFC logo on their answer sheet score consistently worse than their peers.
How are the kids who don't care going to get ahead?
That's right.
Thank you.
The deck is stacked against the child whose pencil breaks, and then he doesn't feel like getting up to go sharpen it, and so he just chews his fingernails for the rest of the test.
We need to test these kids on what they know, not what we want them to know.
But clearly, this isn't just about the test. It's about the system as a whole. Should schools be doing more to reach out to students that don't care about school?
Absolutely. There are no role models for these students in their textbooks.
None.
They just read about motivated people like George Washington and Frederick Douglass.
What about all the historical figures who didn't
You
get
never hear about them. Calvin Coolidge's brother Thomas, he hung around the White House for years before he finally died of alcohol poisoning.
Well, I mean, look, there's a larger issue at play here, which is that there's a big social stigma in this country against lazy, self-centered assholes.
Yes.
And, these kids are suffering because of it.
The purpose of school is to prepare our kids for the real world, and in the real world, people don't give a shit.
Well, Kinko's has been doing this for years. They hire thousands of students.
I think it's so great that they're reaching out to these kids. I mean, I didn't care about anything when I was in school.
Really?
What changed?
Fortunately, I was very blessed to have a teacher that reached out to me and taught me the importance of pretending to give a shit about things.
Wow.
Without him, I certainly would never be the successful pundit that I am today.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Morning. Here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The Earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh.
And Lucas.
Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
You know, people always talk to me about when I was young, when I was running up and down the buildings getting the pigeons for all these drug dealers. I mean, these guys were bad people. They wanted to kill me. They were throwing bricks at me. I thought I was in a nightmare. I didn't know if this was reality or if this was the truth. That's why I always wish that Iron Realm Media was around back then. Because I didn't know what was truth or not. So now I listen to Iron Realm Media all the time. Now I'm walking around the earth and I'm thinking to myself, yes, guess what? This earth is flat indeed. I remember the first time I knocked somebody out. The first time was when this guy picked up one of my pigeons and he snapped his neck. He snapped the pigeon, he broke the pigeon's neck. And I just looked at him. And just my instincts came to give him a right hook. I knocked him out completely. I get really emotional when I think about it. So then I have to sift my brain and think about Iron Realm Media. It makes me so happy. Because Josh, Walt, Lucas, and Zach, they're my friends. It's like they become my pigeons now. I'm going to protect them. So if anybody try to fuck with them, they're in trouble. They're going to get knocked the fuck out. This is Iron Mike Tyson, and you're listening to Iron Realm Media.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Ironworx kicking off right now.
I love that one.
That is a good one.
Never gets
that's
old.
That's the most entertaining commercial break I've heard in a long time. Oh, I can see you surrounded by cats there, Walt.
Yeah, he's become the cat man for sure.
Yes, that's it. Liz and Jackie's calling me the old cat lady. I have definitely become one in my old age here. But yeah, it's great. It's great. Oh man, I didn't know one had gotten behind me. See the sneak up.
So what have you been up to lately, Nick? What have you been pondering? What's been on your brain?
Oh, Zach, yeah, it's well, obviously getting back home from the UK to my family was a great thing. I mean, it's been a year already since I was.
That's amazing.
Back. It's just so. Yeah, obviously there's still a sense of urgency to do something. You know, it's rather than just talk. But you know, obviously Thailand's a very different animal to what you're dealing with in the wherever you are. I know you're kind of moving around a bit, aren't you, Zach? Where are you now?
Stationed in the South Carolina in the States, which is actually a pretty good place to be right now. The governor here isn't very draconian. So it's
Right.
yeah. And since I've been here, there have been no mandates or anything like that. So it's life has been good for me. I can't complain.
Cool. Yeah, that's the frustrating thing about being here. There's kind of pluses and minuses, really. I mean, obviously, if the shit hits the fan, I'm in a tropical place where I'm with my family, and we're working on growing our own food, veggies and things, and so at least you can kind of make steps towards that kind of scenario. But on the other hand, things are quite draconian here, and that's nationwide. It's not up to a different governor, although there's 72 different provinces, and I'm in one of these provinces because it's a tourist area. It's even more locked down than other. I can't leave the province or go across the road. I can't leave by air anyway because I didn't do the jibby jabby, and so there's no flying for me, and there's even crossing the land border because Phuket is an island province. So to get to it's just a couple of 100 meters to the mainland, just across this bridge. But to get through that checkpoint, you have to be either triple jab or you have to do the tests. I'm not sure if they're doing the PCR tests and stuff, but it's very, very difficult. You basically, So
are a lot of people complying? Are there a lot of?
Oh yeah, totally. It's total compliance. That's the thing, and obviously that's what's frustrating about being a foreigner here is, I show my kids and stuff, how schools are or parents are protesting and getting mandates lifted and what have you. But that just doesn't happen here. I mean, it's just everyone just goes along with it. And they might, and you've got the usual mix of those that have been caught in the fear, and others that just go along with it and would never complain, but just get away with what they can or just quietly put up with it. That's kind of so what's constantly in my mind is, the kids haven't been to school for it's getting on for 2 years now because of the shutdowns and everything. So just they're trying to, so there's this, because there is no public pushback ever or any questioning of the narrative, then things do get very procrastinated. But you can see the same things being rolled out that are already happening in Oz, or the UK. They've just started doing the jab buses and what have you. So but the way it seems to be, just we're being used as political bargaining chips. So as long as, I think it seems to me that as long as any country that has ties with the empire buys enough supplies of their pharmaceutical products to give to their people, and then carries out the procedure to do it, and then and obviously makes commitments down the line, then you get taken off the red list, which has just happened to Thailand as far as the UK is concerned. So that's the way I see it. I'm just with this being used as bargaining chips.
That's crazy.
Sorry if that was a long-winded response, but
No, it's great. Here's the thing: what is the fucking bargaining about, though? I mean, so even if you just recently, in the last 4 to 5 years, woke up to the amount of lies going on around you, at this point, even the normies, even the sheep watching news should be looking around going, well, if all these countries are enemies, why are they all agreeing and working together with all this bullshit? So if that alone doesn't wake people the fuck up to what's going on, all this, well, it can't be a flat earth. Do you know how many governments would have to be in on that? We can't have faked the moon landing. Do you know how many governments would have to be working together for that? That same fucking reasoning is like, okay, hello, are you enjoying your worldwide lockdown, you idiot fucks? Oops, sorry, I'm being ugly again. I'll stop.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so difficult to know what might be happening at those other levels, as you're talking about the bloodlines and things like that. So obviously, somewhere like Thailand is a sovereign nation, and I've got to admit that it's masterfully throughout the ages of colonialism and all that maintained its sovereignty by not giving itself over completely to any one of those. The Dutch, the Portuguese, the Brits, the French. They all had to go. They all came here in their boats and stuff, a few hundred years ago, armed to the teeth. But the thing is, they made friends with everyone. And that's their kind of, there's a Buddhist saying, cut off the hand to feed the tiger. So you just give a little bit of yourself away rather than your whole self. And so I hold out hope for the usual thing. There's probably a lot going on behind the scenes, and there are probably factions and people fighting within government, and maybe for good or for bad or for personal things or whatever, that we would never know of. But I would imagine they would be, just doing their best to do what they usually do, and that's kind of stay friends with people or the other countries, and not necessarily kowtow to every single demand, but make compromises. That's how I would hope it might work out.
So would you say over the last year it's got better or worse? Did you guys start all the lockdown stuff right away?
Yeah, they were
a year ago. Yeah, they weren't allowing you even back into the country.
That's right. Yeah, so it's completely that's the thing, and that's the thing. It's under military rule at the moment. Still, basically, it's run by the army, and so I've been through several coups. I can't remember. There must be about 3 or 4 coups where one day the army's on the streets, but that's okay. Life carries on as normal. This stuff happens, and it's just it's often very symbolic. There are no protests. There have been uprisings and shootings in the past, long time ago. It's still within this generation. But the subsequent coups have been very kind of like just nothing necessarily violent, just to show that the politicians. That's the thing. You still have a monarchy that is still quite influential, and the politicians can only ever go so far. Damn, I've forgotten what your question was.
Oh, just if over the last year, have you seen because I know it's been locked down and everything. Have they gotten even more draconian?
Well, yeah, in some senses, yes, because it was only later on, I think after I got back that masks in public anywhere became mandatory, and then a fine would be imposed if you're caught without them. And they've also discussed if someone like myself was anti this. I risk getting deported, so I wouldn't have any kind of, I could talk, even if I knew my rights, then doesn't matter, you've committed a social faux pas. So, so that those things have been discussed in the higher echelons among consulates. And of course, the consulates will just go along with that to keep the peace. And say, okay, all right, well, if you want to deport someone, we'll, all right, they wouldn't protest those kinds of actions. So yeah, the mask wearing has become enforced, but it's funny. You go into shop, they've had the temperature things in the shops, and now it's become a bit blasé. You can just kind of walk in, and no one's really insisting that you check your temperature anymore, unless it's a higher class place. But the kind of cheaper supermarkets, the thing's there, but it's often broken now. So there isn't, but yeah, I do have to put a mask on, and because but unfortunately, I wouldn't if I was in the UK. But so it's the pressure's on. But again, I don't, I can see in the UK, for example, that because of the way shopping is done and all that thing, it's all very organized. So they can implement these things like vax passports and stuff so much easier and really restrict what people do. But I don't think that wouldn't affect me, because they might have them in shopping centers, but you're not going to have to show your vax passport for a mom and pop shop down the road, of which there are dozens. So, that's why it would never get, even if the legislation was draconian, the enforcement of it wouldn't happen. Just like I was saying in one of my vids, it's law to wear helmets, but most motorcyclists don't wear them, and they'll occasionally get caught and pay a small fine. It doesn't make people wear helmets, even if it's more sensible than jamming yourself. But yeah, they really have been effective in that sense, in because they can literally close off a province and make it very, very difficult to travel. And it has put the Prime Minister admitted it in a recent thing. They were talking about opening up on November the 1st, but he just said the other day in a speech that, yeah, of course, people have lost their livelihoods. It's all basically, he's admitting that it's been a huge disaster for most people. They've been hugely affected by this and lost, lost livelihoods, and that there's no support here. There's no, so I see the way I see it in the UK is they just, within 2 weeks, they put everyone in debt. All these businesses were signing up for these loans, and that was a couple of years ago. So they're already, and the whole nation is faced with these rising charges, and that's what they did. That's, as far as I'm concerned, they created debt for another couple of generations. That was their goal. But here, there isn't so much government assistance. There is a bit, but ultimately, the need for people to make a living overrides all of that.
Well,
Yeah,
in
see, we're
States,
seeing
like
it
the
different.
months leading up to all this shit in 2019, all the CEOs and all the big corporations did all kind of maneuvers. They sold this, they shifted that, some resigned, put other people in charge, lots of fucking monetary shenanigans, because they knew what they were about to do. So here, let's do what we can do to get it right for us,
And here in the States, we have a thing going on. They're calling it the Great Resignation. Now, not one news outlet will admit that it's because people are refusing the vaccination and therefore losing their jobs over this. Not one article will say that. They'll say it's because of the last couple years, the depression and anxiety, and they're just sick of work. I can't remember a time in my life that people weren't sick of work. I mean, that's just how it's always been. Everybody, we hate Mondays because it's the beginning of the work week. All these different things, throughout my whole life. And now all of a sudden, people are just quitting by the millions in droves just because now we're going to decide that we don't care anymore and we don't care about our livelihood. And yeah, people are giving up, their livelihood, their jobs.
Which is, again, I think, that's ultimately it can be a positive, that you force that change. People might be in a job for years and they're, like you say, they're cheesed off with it. They don't want to be doing it. It's not their vocation. So in many senses, this has been a kick in the butt for a lot of people to just, okay, sod it. I'll try and make a living out of what I love doing. So again, that's something positive that is, coming out of this.
I'm just asking, do you see anybody over there doing that, just quitting their job, saying, nope, I'm not letting you do this to me. This is my line in the sand. I will die in a cave. No, yeah, see, we're seeing a lot of that here, to where they're having to address it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was just discussing this with my daughter, just before we talked, that exactly that, how, that a lot of people see, for example, the US as, well, Americans can sometimes come across as being arrogant and self-righteous, but that's also a good thing, because they will stand up for their rights and they will fight for them, and you still got your guns and all that stuff. Whereas I don't, when I say arrogant, what I mean is in compared to the mostly Asian kind of mentality, which is to just bow down and quietly accept the status quo without feeling that they have the power or should. And that you do, that is part of the education system as well. Like any education system, you can definitely see how it is geared to, you know, to bring you up as a Thai person. And my kids are in Thai school rather than international schools, and it's great for many things. They are pleasant people, I hope, because of it. They you know, they're taught to respect elders and you know, and be more yeah, well, you know, in some ways subservient, but not to that extent.
Yeah. I've always looked at, you know, US and Australia's in some ways been this sort of place where we've been like a baby America. We're trying to be, you know, Americans, have all their sort of culture and import it in, basically. But at the way I see things now, it is really up to, you know, the US to really, we're sort of waiting on them to take action in a sense, because they still have that, you know, they still have the guns, they still have the fire, a lot of things over there that still isn't quite the same as in a lot of countries. And if they do take action, you know, whether it be through common law courts or whatever it is, then it seems to me the whole world will start to follow suit in a way. But, you know, as far as this process is concerned, I think they're truly, their main goal is to undermine the US as much as possible and put them on the back foot so that they can't do that sort of thing and stand up when they need to, you know, because, you know, that's, yeah. That's my take on it. But if they do something, if you do something en masse and stand up, then the whole world will see it. You know what I mean? And that'll really sort of shift this paradigm to one degree or another. But in general, I just see a complete splitting of culture. You know, you have the people that are awake and aware of, you know, what this thing's all about and really about, and then you have, you know, a large percentage of the population that, like you were saying before, put their walls up, dive deeper, and, you know, put their head up their ass even further. You know what I mean? Like, and so, and the people that stay in that culture, you know, that they're basically trying to create, you know, you're basically left with people that are, you know, they're not creative in a sense. They haven't got the light, the consciousness. You know, what's that culture going to be? It's not going to be very healthy, and it will just sort of peter away on its own little journey. But the people that realize what's going on and start to make moves, you know, like plant their own gardens, start to be independent, self-sufficient workers, communities. You know, this is where you actually create, you know, enjoyable societies, you know, enjoyable communities, and have a quality of life that comes out of it that isn't dictated to by going to a 9-to-5 job that sucks usually.
That is the beauty of it, isn't it? Yeah. You know, all these people that are getting fired from their job, pilots, professionals, health care workers, surely they can then, you know, open up their own hospitals and surgeries and clinics, and, you know, even if they're not allowed to or they can't get licensed, so what? Because, you know, they're not, you know, they're forcing us out of that system. Fine, have your system. We'll build our own.
Zach has called for an exodus how many times now? Zach here on our
Saying
show.
Venezuela looks nice. Venezuela looks
time
nice.
to take all these smart people and get them away from all the infection of idiocracy that is just rampant currently. Man, we are quickly running out of time for this segment, believe it or not. But that's good. That means we still have one more to go after this. I was just kind of perusing. I think the last video, man, I watched just caught you doing the mangosteen when you were breaking it open.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been like kind of scanning to see what I've been missing. Dude, you're always putting stuff up every day, it seems, man. You've got something happening over there on your channel. What's your latest thing that you want to like kind of maybe get into kind of deep on the other side? Because, dude, we've been beating this Vax horse to fucking death.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
you know, usually going back to basics, but it's great because there are a lot of people, they're newcomers, and it's really, it's that, you know, it's just, let's be clear about what reality is, and any other argument is for a models versus reality, and of course it's just gotta. I just keep getting drawn back to it by these idiots. A lot of idiots come with their own little models, and they try and make a flat Earth model and say, "Oh, that doesn't fit with reality." And it's like, you're not even representing reality how we see it.
No.
You know, how we see the world tells you exactly how it is, and what we don't know, what we can't see, is pointless demanding any explanation, because you can make up any shit you want.
Yeah, it's hard when they
Perfect timing. There's the break music. Ooh, sorry, Zach. Yeah, man, break music's here. Hang on a minute. All right, guys, one more segment coming up. We're talking to Nick from the YouTube channel Phuket Word. If you're not familiar, I'll have the link there in our chat. It'll be in the show description. We'll be right back with the Ironworx.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? Life is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Jacob Frank Leibovich is the mastermind behind a global network of satanic cults. He taught that the creator God was evil. Jacob Frank proclaimed himself as the true Messiah. He vowed never to tell the truth. He rejected every moral law and declared that the only way to a new society was through the total destruction of civilization. Murder, rape, incest, and the drinking of blood were perfectly acceptable actions and rituals. His followers established the Marxist system and have infiltrated Islam and Judaism. He was the Messiah of the Illuminati.
EnigmaTV.com.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
And Lucas.
And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworx, kicking off right now. Hanging out with our buddy Nick, Phuket Word. Just get caught up. Been a while since we had a chance to talk to Nick.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's nice to be here and chatting. Should we just carry on where we left off?
We certainly can.
Might as well.
You know, since I mentioned the mangosteen, dude, I have to ask, how does it taste as a fruit? Because all I've ever been exposed to is there was a period where the concentrated mangosteen juice was like all the rage as a super fruit concentrated juice that you would drink, like just a literal ounce shot of per day is how concentrated it was. And it was supposed to like be, you know, super food and healthy and all this great stuff. And I bought a bottle because it seemed like it would be okay. And when I opened it, the smell was like, what am I getting myself into here? And then the taste was just about like that. So now later I found one that had some flavoring that wasn't quite as bad, but just the first one I tried was, I can't even explain it, what the smell and taste were like. So.
Oh, right. I wouldn't know what it's like concentrated, because I mean, just as a fruit on its own, it's very flavorsome. It's sour and sweet at the same time. It's beyond a strawberry, but it's difficult to know what to describe it.
Right. Well, it could have just been the concentration that made it so pungent and just overwhelming. It was like do a shot and knock it back with some water, because it was just it was rough. But then years later I found one that was actually quite pleasant. So
good.
Anyway,
I'm wondering if maybe they might have because I can imagine it would be difficult to get the fruit, because actually there's very little flesh. It looks very nice, especially when you cut it open. But it's there's a lot of seed. The seeds are big, and the skin is quite thick as well. So I mean, I don't know if they maybe just kind of threw the whole lot in a juicer and you would have got all of that.
All of this stuff. I have no idea. I know it must have been a very costly production though to get it together with, like you say, the amount of pulp versus what you're getting from it, because it was super expensive. My goodness.
But so it's obviously there's fruits all around, which is great here. As I was saying earlier on, that's kind of comforting in some sense. But
the tropics are definitely the place to be, I think.
Exactly.
You know, like, or anywhere close to there, like if you can grow all year round fruit trees and that sort of thing. I mean, that's the go. That's where we're meant to live, I reckon.
Venezuela looks pretty nice. I'm just saying. High altitude. Later.
You've been buying up land down there, haven't you, Zach?
You know what? Actually, what's funny is talk about the differences in the country. There was a time, like the previous maybe kind of 2 generations ago, in which the king actually gave all Thais land. Everyone at one point had land, and they could go off and they could lay claim to acres and acres of land. And there are various rules and laws and things where you can kind of if you farm land for a certain period, first of all, it can be designated only as agricultural land, but if you do it for long enough, you can then change its status into kind of somewhere that you can develop a little bit more, or at least, give yourself an address somewhere to live on that land after you've worked it for a certain amount of time. But again, people get, that's the thing, they had the most valuable possession anyone could ever want, land that provides fruit and food and harvests, for everyone. And my wife even remembers a time when it was, people would just, and they help each other out. Everyone helps do each other's fields for the rice, and just wander from, okay, you're growing this, I'll have some of that. And, it's just, and then, one day electricity came along. Yeah.
They had real community back then.
Yeah. And of course that, so that, that's not very long gone, or it still exists in many, and it has been a lot of people that, as we were talking about the whole situation, this has prompted people with the means or without even to go back to, because, for example, Phuket only has a population of is less than 500,000. But there is, when it's busy in the tourist times, and when Angkor Wat, when everything's going well, then you've probably got, you've got basically 10 to 12 million tourists arriving each year, and probably several million people catering to those tourists. So in many sense, the island is overwhelmed. So, okay, a lot of those people have gone back up country to their homes where they do already have land. Of course, the problem has come for a lot of people where, they've wanted to join that. At least that's the thing. Here, you can have the choice. You can stay out of the rat race, and you can just live off the land, no problem, as long as you're prepared to get up early, walk into the forest, and risk getting bitten by snakes, and find, cassava or mushrooms or freshwater shrimps. Well, that's, when I would go up country to my wife's home when her mum was still alive, she'd be gone before daybreak, and then come back with a basket full of all sorts of creatures, little, crabs and shrimps and stuff, and that was breakfast, and just. And so, but of course they would already be in the situation where they'd be, instead of using their buffaloes to plow the fields, they'd start using the rotavators, and then of course they've got to buy petrol, and then they're in that cycle. Then they're paying off debts. Yeah, that's it. Boom, and then people will inherit land, and they'll sell it off to buy a motorbike for no particular reason, but just because they want one. And then of course that's it. The land isn't that valuable, so yes, you could buy a motorbike, or maybe you could possibly, it depends on how much you sell, you could buy a car or something, but that's it, it's gone, boom, and so 5 years, 10 years down the line, so is the car. And so that's what's kind of one of those realizations that you see in all of this, is even when people have what they really need, they want something else, and they will they'll give up that for the convenience, which is a killer. That's one phrase I've adopted recently. Convenience is a killer, and that's the root of a lot of our problems now, isn't it? Really, just that convenience. And
who's still thriving like they always have, at least here in the United States? The Amish.
Mormons. Oh, the Amish, yeah.
Yeah, they don't use electricity. They don't depend on any outside sources for their stuff. They grow and raise everything right there on their own land. And the Amish, I don't know if you can do this in Phuket over there in Thailand. Can you actually own land?
I can't, but my wife and my daughters can.
But they can not. I mean, like here in the United States, you can buy a house and get a property, but you don't own the land. You still pay taxes on it. You don't have mining rights. But
no, you can own the land, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually own the land here.
Right.
Not a lot of people know about it. It's not one of the checks that they give you on the little piece of paper or a box to check. So, I want an illegal title. They don't offer it. You have to ask them and apply and all this other crazy stuff. But the government actually will give you a plaque and put it at the corner of your property. And it says, this land is hereby now and forever owned by so-and-so and his heirs forever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. You don't pay taxes. You don't, you're not part of the, like on the zoning, it's not, agriculture or residential or it's private property.
Really?
Actually,
Okay.
Private property. Yeah.
Wow. That's the thing, isn't it? Knowledge is power in that respect, because we're under this impression that the whole world's getting locked down and we can't do anything. It's like, well, actually, if you just study a bit, you can. You just got to be a little bit more savvy than the people that are going along with the narrative.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's how all these people have gotten ahead. They make these rules and don't tell you about the loopholes. So you're following all the rules, but you didn't know that, I don't have to pay taxes every year if I just outright buy the land. Well, where's that option on, they don't tell you that.
Sure, it's yeah.
That information.
And that's probably it's and that you wouldn't know, that they wouldn't teach that in school either, would they?
No. Oh, and in our government class, they taught us how to write a checkbook out. They taught you, what else is it? Like nothing about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Actually, in the House of Congress library, the National Archives, they have put warning stickers on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights books that say this is dangerous material. Out of date thinking about, our Bill of Rights and our Constitution that,
founded this fucking country?
Yeah, that says, okay, no man has power over any other man. We get these rights from the Creator. That's dangerous thinking now in this country.
Wow.
You're going as far as calling these types of people who think this way terrorists, domestic terrorists. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of that over there, right? You said the whole culture is kind of geared in a different way to respect authority a little bit more and your elders and.
Yeah, it's kind of, obviously it's still, it's an emerging feudal society, and that obviously the whole land giveaway thing was kind of because that was coming out of this time where you had landlords basically owning people. And of course, someone might have to give up their child as manual labor over a bet, some gambling debt or something. That, this was not too long ago that this was the situation here. And so, there's various ranks of nobility and what have you. And it is very, very convoluted. And I can't really claim to be an expert at all on Thai politics or the nobility, but it's very intricate and complex. And but yes, so yes, you will have the same thing. These upper echelons know their rights, know what they can do, they know the laws, or they someone said to me once that the whole system is designed to be, in our words, corrupt. Thais don't have a word for corruption. They actually have to borrow the English word, because the way it's not corrupt per se. It's just a different system where if you want to do things like own land or open up a company, I could have a company that then owns land or has a 99-year lease on land and a property, and there are certain things there, but I could never be more than a 49% owner of that property. It would still be a Thai company essentially, and you'd have to have shareholders. But the point being that if I wanted to try and set that up on my own, it would be a logistical nightmare, and I would face barriers all the way. I would have to employ a lawyer or property expert or something like that or a business, legal people to do it. So that's the thing. Your average worker for the local authorities doesn't get very much of a salary. It's minuscule, really, but they all know that with it comes all these benefits, and money comes in from different sources for different projects, and it just gets it's.
Well, I think that's whether it's more intricate or not, that the same token, it's basically the same thing as where if you've got a lot of money, you can make a lot of money. it's not hard. The system's built towards people that can get past a certain threshold of finance, and then it's just a free for all for them. You know, this is the debt and death paradigm that we're in, and that's what we ultimately need to move away from, that type of debt system.
I bet if you
go
had
on, sorry.
all the trust funds that are given out in this country, it would be right at that level of, once you have this much money, making money is super easy. So you look at all the trust fund babies out there and how much they were left, and I bet that average is like right at that line, to where once you get this kind of money, so the minute they turn 21 or graduate college or whatever, they're given this big chunk of money. And then the rest of their life, the money isn't a problem anymore. The money just makes more money.
As long as they've been, again, I think it still depends on a level of certain, education, whether not necessarily a school education, but education, knowledge and wisdom that's passed on. A lot of these people probably lose their fortune.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of them squander it away on drugs and alcohol and expensive hookers.
I saw a story just yesterday about a Brit. He was a dustbin man. What would you call it? A trash collector. And he won, almost 10 million pounds with a £1 lottery. And so, but he blew it. And that's it. He's back to working in an abattoir, and he's back with his old girlfriend after living a life of Riley for 10 years, I think it was. But he basically, so the money didn't make. I mean, he's just back where he started, and so. Yeah, he had the money, but it didn't mean that he was, you still have to have that kind of acumen to do something with it.
Well, yeah, they're all taught. I mean, they're not just usually, probably over here, I bet a lot of them are given IRAs and things like that don't mature until a certain time. So, they're always constantly have something to fall back onto. Eventually.
How many people have done that? Like, you've heard, like with the lottery and stuff, like they've won it, and then the next minute they're just, high on coke and hookers for a year, and then it's all gone. It's what?
Sure. Or just off themselves. There's a huge suicide rate for those lottery winners. It's ridiculous.
That's true.
Yeah, you're
really,
for that long of a period of time, and now all of a sudden reality kicks in and you're broke.
Yeah,
that's got to be an awakening right there.
It might be a relief for some people. Back to normal. Listen, guys, I'm really sorry. I've actually got to go and pick up my daughter.
No, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you for hopping over here, man.
Thank you. So. I'll just leave it there then. So thanks, Josh, Walt, Zach, Lucas.
No, perfect.
Nick,
pop in anytime, Nick.
Love.
Thank you so much.
Much love to the family, man. Give them a big hug from us for sure, from the whole Iron crew.
Will do, man. Will do.
Take care, bro.
Appreciate it. You take care. We'll speak soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome, man.
That's always exciting.
Cool deal.
Dig it.
Yeah, Nick is one of my heroes, I guess. One of the people I try to be like.
Absolutely, man. That's why I go check his stuff out all the time and just get a nice little chuckle, because it's just coming from the heart, all of it.
Mm-hmm. He's very good at, getting his thoughts off his chest and saying it in a nice way, not condescending or belittling any certain person or anything like that. Nick is always just top notch, good guy.
Head on over to his channel.
I got to thinking about.
I just wanted to suggest that people head on over there. He's got some really great observations, some really amazing stuff that he's captured on his video that will just really stop and make you think. So it's definitely worth a look. There's so many different types of videos over there. I like going over there just to check out the scenery there in Phuket. I think it's just really cool. Sorry, I'm rambling now and interrupted the shit out of you. Well, you go ahead.
No, you did not. You're good. You're all good. I was just going into a place in my head and remembered that I was completely wrong. It wasn't the mangosteen juice that was so horrible smelling and tasting. It was noni. Noni. That was the one that was like, how does someone actually get this down? I don't understand. Because the mangosteen actually wasn't bad at all. Because I was just kind of doing some research and seeing, wait, that wasn't the one that was so bad. So my apologies to the great fruit of mangosteen. Anyway, I will put the show description today. We'll have Nick's channel in the link there. Definitely some great sunset stuff, some great Polaris stuff. He's kind of doing
great
what we
stuff on perspective. If you want to know how he
perspective,
dies,
yep,
Nick has been there for years,
forever.
explaining over and over and over again, just nailing it home every time. So yeah, if you need a video to show somebody on how your eyes work, go check out his channel.
I'll still never get over the one he did with on the top of the I think it was a dam and the layer of just right there in that short amount of distance, the layer of air that just fucks up everything you're trying to see. Dudes just disappearing and shit. It's like, yeah, this is just right here. Think about it in the sky then.
He taught me how the sun and moon wagon wheel in the sky, and gave me my idea to do it myself and model it myself and, show the exact same thing. Yeah, just a plethora of knowledge coming out.
And then interspersed with all that great demonstration and thought and here's what you should maybe show someone if they're asking these questions are great little pieces and slices of life there, which make me super jealous, like elephants bathing in the water and just folks on the street having an amazing life, just playing music. And yeah, great stuff, man. Thank you for the stuff you put out.
Well, real quick before we get out of here, folks, we are 11 days away from Flattoberfest in Spartanburg, South Carolina, October 23rd and 24th. Tickets are still on sale and will be available at the door. You could buy a one-day ticket if you want. You can get tickets online now today at flatearthfestivals.com. Now, you won't be able to find too much as far as hotels that have been secured. There are still hotels in the area that, I know of at least, are still have some rooms open, but the main one was all sold out. So there's going to be a hotel with just floors of flat earthers, folks. This is going to be so much fun. If you'd like to be around a big group of like-minded people, come on out. I'll be there. Get a big hug. All right, that's it.
Yeah, I'm with BCB there in chat. I so wish that I could go, but can't.
Yeah, it's just going to be a good recharging. Being around all these people and all the positive energy and all these amazing magnetic fields that these people have to be putting off. You can't explain it. And it's like everyone is the very first one. It's so weird. It's not like you get sick of these things. It's not like, oh, I've been to a bunch of them. No, it's not one of those. These are different. It's like everyone is almost like doing it for the first time. Just the excitement and everything leading up to it. Yeah, we'll get you guys to one soon. We'll even get Lucas out here.
Tommy said if you stop by, he'll give you a tickle. So go see Tommy while you're there. Thank you, brother. Saw the super chat earlier, Tommy. Thank you so much. And for everything, man. There's no way to thank you for all you do for this community. You and the Kakalaki crew.
Definitely.
Yeah, they've been putting out more new stuff on Tommy's channel there, That Flat Fellow on YouTube. Go check it out. Awesome stuff. I love the puppets. I just love them.
I know, bro. I know.
It takes me back. And it's real information. This is what children should be watching. Are these, these Muppets. Not the Muppets that we were all brainwashing. Yep.
Earth. Yep.
That just about wraps it up, folks. I love y'all.
Yeah, we're almost there. Man, as you probably can hear, they are firing it up out there. Definitely, we're back into grinding here, so I'm getting your sugar ready for you, world. It's coming. We're fixing you up. We're getting your hit ready. Anyway, yeah, it's there. The trucks are rumbling. The mill is fired up, so it'll be a little extra noisy on my end occasionally, but I try to stay on top of it for you guys. But I just felt the house shake, and it was like, oh, here we go.
It's a post-pandemic world, Walter. Zoom and everybody's upgraded. We didn't hear jack squat. Can't even hear the sugar trucks anymore.
Nice.
Earth.
Nope. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning, guys. Be sure you come back here Friday morning. We'll be here. Where will you be? And then, of course, 12, 13 hours later, we'll be back here again for Have No Sphere with guest Marty Leeds. You don't want to miss that one. In the meantime, have yourselves a great rest of your week. Be good. Be well. We love you.